Okay, so the next example that we're going to look at is if I'm given 2 points and I have to find the slope, or if I'm given a table and I have to find the slope. So if I am given 2 points and I must find the slope, again, we say the equation is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And if you need to, you could always come over to your equation and do, this is x1 and y1, x2, y2, okay? That's not necessary, but you could definitely do that. The key is remembering that you go the same direction both times. What I mean by that is if I am subtracting this way with my x's, I must subtract this way with my y's. I can't go one way and then the other. So I would say a -4 minus 7, that would be my numerator. And then in my denominator, I would say a -6 minus a -4. And so that's going to give me a -11 over, double negatives become positive, over a -2, or a positive 11/2. So that would be my answer. Now, I could definitely do it a different way. Maybe I don't want to do that way. Maybe I like doing 7 minus a -4. I just always want to go from from left to right like I do everything else. And it would be a -4 minus a -6. And again, when I subtract, I'm going to get 11 over, so there's my double negatives, over 2. And as you see, either way, you're going to get the same answer as a final answer. I would just say for you to pick a way that you like best. Either go from left to right every time or go from right to left every time. It does not matter. Okay, now what happens if we have a table? Well, if you have a table, then you can actually do this one of two ways. You can use the slope formula. If you're doing the slope formula, you would just pick 2 points, any 2 points you want, okay? And you would find the slope. And so if I'm doing that, and I'm going to use these points, so I'm going to say 5 minus a -4, there's my y's, -3 minus 0, so I have 9 over a -3, or a -3 is my slope. That's definitely one way you could do it. There's my answer. Another way that you could look at this is you could come over here and I could say, well, there's a change of 3 there. There's a change of 3 there. There's a change of 3, -3 I should say, because it is a negative going down, and a -3, okay? So that would be my, what we call our change in y. And then my change in x, I could go from here to here, and this has actually added 1. Added 1, added 1, and added 1. And so now I have my change in y over change in x. So that's a -3 over 1 is a -3. So that's 2 different ways to look at it. Now, here's the thing about doing this method, guys, is because if I give you a table and I say, is it a linear function? Then this is what you would do. In order for it to be linear, your change in y and your change in x on the first time have to be the same. When we progress and we do quadratics, it is not the same the first time, it is the same the second time, and that becomes a whole different thing. So again, 2 different ways of finding the slope. Use either way that fits you best.